Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vet Chats, where we help veterans share their awesome stories and make the veteran community a better place. I hope you'll stay tuned to hear how this generation is continuing their service. Also, Vet Chats is available on Reese Across America Radio. We've played Mondays at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. They have a lot of great content I know you guys would appreciate. You can find them at iHeartRadio, Odyssey, or on their website. And finally, the Veteran Workbook is now available. The best place that you can find it is through the link in my bio. Hello, everybody. I apologize for this hot mess express I got going on, but I'm kind of recovering from a really long week at a conference. But one thing I took away from that conference was just be authentic, just showing up. So here we go. Anyhow, we have a great guest tonight. His name is Mike. I connected with him through our local VA commission, our county commission. So I'm excited to have him on and share all the stuff he's doing and what he has done. So I see he's requesting. We're going to... All right. We did it.
Hey, how about that? We did it.
We did it. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jenny. Yourself?
That's good. I'm not bad. I think I'm getting sick just because I've been running myself so much, but that's okay.
No, I know how that feels. My little one's starting to get sick and making its way through the house. So yeah, we got it going around over here too.
Yes, yeah, it's hard, especially when you have little kids. It's bound to happen. It's that time of the year. Hopefully you can avoid during the holidays. Best we can hope for. Did you do anything special this weekend?
No, I actually kind of kept it low key. We had the birthday on Friday and Veterans Day on Saturday. So happy belated Veterans Day. But no, kind of kept it low key. Did some family stuff and yeah, just kind of reached out to some of my buddies and just checked up on them and just kept on with life.
Hey, that's awesome. That's incredible. Yes, happy Veterans Day to everyone. Happy belated Veterans Day. I hope you had a good one. I hope you were able to reach out because you're right. I think that's so important to do that, especially on those days. Yeah, I see someone said Veterans Day was hard this year. Yep, it's a great time to reach out to those around us and in our community. So, well, let's get into it.
Sure.
So what made you a veteran? How did you decide to join the Marines?
So I don't know if my story's a lot like many other people. So I was kind of the band geek in high school. I weighed about $130 in my senior year, and really didn't know what was going on with my life. Wasn't doing well in school, and really didn't have any kind of college aspirations. And I kind of looked into the Marine Corps. And people ask why the Marine Corps. I said, well, I was a band geek in high school, so if I'm going to join the service, I'm going to join the hardest one, and I'm going to prove to everybody else that I can do this, that I'm not just a band geek. So became a U.S. Marine. Spent 11 years in the Corps. Got out in 2011. Had some broken service, but yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Wow, so you really did this for the band geeks out there. You proved
Yep.
them all. You proved everyone that they're more than that. I love it. What instrument did you play in band?
So I was the ultimate geek. I was a tuba player.
I was gonna guess
My,
that just because you're like really strong.
it's the big chunky guy, right?
The strong guy, someone who
Sure,
can handle that.
sure. But yeah, so yeah, played tuba. Actually, my first couple of years in the Marine Corps, I was with the Marine Drum and Bugle Corps in DC, and then decided that I wanted to do some more like real Marine stuff. So joined the Intel community and joined squadron. Had combat deployment with a heavy helicopter squadron in Afghanistan. Got some hours flying combat out there. So yeah.
Wow. Wait, so let's go back. What was it like working, like being in the band? What?
So it's bittersweet. I will be upfront and honest. It was an honor to be able to have done that in my life and being able to to have that experience and been able to represent the United States and the Marine Corps in events all over the world. It did get it didn't feed my drive though. I wanted that Marine Corps drive. I wanted that combat experience, that Marine Corps experience. And while being with the Drum Bugle Corps was a great experience, I really needed to leave that in my past and pursue something else.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's cool though to say that you have that experience. And then what kind of drew you to Intel?
Uh, Honestly, looking forward, like knowing that I can't be in the Marine Corps my entire life. The Marine Corps isn't just my identity; it's not an identity for me. That I need to have something that I'm going to be able to fall back on as a career. Because at the time, I didn't have a college education. I wanted to do something that I could carry over into the civilian side, either through business or continue service for the government.
Yes, that's very forward thinking of you because I know a lot of us we didn't think like that. We were just like, that sounds fun. Let's do it.
Well, I did kind of do the typical thing of like the every Marine when you get out of the Marine Corps, what degree do you pursue? Criminal justice. So yeah, I've got a bachelor's of science in criminal justice. But yeah, it's the piece of paper that I'm able to hang up on the wall. But it was kind of that path to the Intel career that I'm in right now.
Yes, yeah, and we'll get to that. But so what does Intel in the Marine Corps look like? Do you do a lot of yeah, what does that look
Sure.
like?
So there's different fields for intel. So you have the different communities, your human intelligence, your geographic intelligence, signals intelligence. I was an all source analyst. Other services, you'll call them a fusion analyst. So we kind of take all the information that's coming in from all the different intelligence disciplines, um, think of those as pieces to a bigger puzzle, and we're the person that actually puts that puzzle together. We're the ones that see the big picture through all that additional intelligence and information that's coming in. While I was with the helicopter squadrons, we were taking all that information that was coming in, and we were doing those pre-flight briefs. And many of those flights I was going to be on myself, so I needed to make sure that not only was I providing the best insight for what the bad guys are doing, for my pilots and my other crew, also for myself as well. So we would take the information that's coming in, assess what's going on in the battlefield, look at where our flight paths were going to be taking us, and assess what the adversaries, at least it was the Taliban at the time, the Taliban's capabilities were, where we're going to be flying.
Gotcha. Yeah, so very, very intense stuff. You had to do like 12-hour watches, kind of sort of schedule like that.
So yeah, we were doing 12, 14s. I was the intel chief for the squadron. And I had four other Marines that were working underneath me. And what I would do occasionally is I personally would pull a 72-hour day, just to make sure that my Marines actually had the opportunity to spend 24 hours being able to write letters home, make the phone calls, get some sleep, get refreshed, and then come back in. So that was kind of what I was trying to do with my Marines, with the leadership that I was able to provide.
Wow. And now I'd ask you, how's your insomnia from that?
No, I don't have an insomnia problem. I just stay up all night. Now, um,
Right.
I live my life on Rippets, Monsters, or coffee. That's what we gotta get through.
Yes, yes, the breakfast of champions right there. Um, so so you really like Intel. What was kind of behind your decision to get out?
The unfortunate thing was I did not leave the Marine Corps on my own terms. So right around 2011, 2010, 2011, that was when the Marine Corps was downsizing. They had plussed up in 2008, 2009 for both of the wars. And then they were just over manpower. So I was part of the reduction in force, so I was involuntarily separated, which that led me into like not too good of a headspace, because well, that was part of the gun club. That was that's the life that I knew. And
Yeah.
then pretty much to have an expiration date set on my service.
Yeah, yeah, and was it an abrupt thing? How long of a notice did you have?
I had 3 months notice from the time that I got the reduction in force. They pretty much said you will not be allowed to reenlist. You have until October 1st, 2011, and you get to turn your ID card back in, and you're out of the club.
Wow. That is so scary. So what was going through your head at the time in order to prep for this?
Uh, so really, there was no preparation. I thought that I had all my ducks in a row to actually keep my service, keep in the Marine Corps past 2011. Um, once I got that notification, it set in motion a whole bunch of different things. The first stage was, what the hell just happened? Like, this is what I've known for 11 years. What am I gonna do? Like I said before, I didn't have a degree, so I really didn't have much to fall back on. I had my Intel career, but and then that got me into a sense of depression. Started going downward spiral. Uh, Eating more than a Marine should eat, putting more weight on than a Marine should weigh, which just negatively impacted the remaining 3 months that I had in the Marine Corps. And then after that was call everybody I knew. Just who's got a line, who's got a hookup that I can potentially jump into. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's working mall security. I don't care what it is. And luckily, my first intel officer that I served with called me up and said, "Hey, you're one of the best Marines, one of the best intel analysts that I've ever known. The Marine Corps is losing a great Marine. How about you actually come work as a contractor for me, working for the Marine Corps?" So fast forward to essentially right after I separated, October 1st. Hung up the uniform, put on a suit, and walked right into a Marine Corps command. And I like to joke around that I never actually had to grow up. So I spent 11 years in the Marine Corps, and now I get to work as a contractor at the time for Marine Corps units. So I could still talk to Marines the way I would talk to Marines. I just didn't have to wear the uniform anymore.
Yes, yes. Oh, wow. But also, I'm curious, how was that like identity wise? Because you were like, you're working with people and you're like, I was just one of you, and now maybe there's a sense of otherness that you experienced.
Actually, yeah, that was a huge thing that I stepped into. Having worn the uniform, there's a couple of different things that happened to me. So like the first one was, I'm I know it sounds silly, but what do I wear? I I'm not throwing on my boots. I'm not throwing on my camis. Like, does this color suit match this color tie? Do am I allowed to wear brown shoes with a black belt?
Yes.
I knew what woodland camis look like. I knew what they felt like, and I knew what they went with because everything looked the same.
Hmm.
So there was that loss of identity there. But then walking into the command, it was a bunch of Marines that I had never met before. Walking into that command and having been a Marine, they knew that I was a Marine. Now they know that I'm a contractor. I wasn't too open about why I left the Marine Corps or what the circumstances were about it. So they looked at me as a younger vet of, oh, you just decided to quit and chase the money. So then I was fighting that identity of, now I'm a contractor. I'm just a headhunter. I'm just trying to find the paycheck, and left the Marine Corps for that. but then also trying to separate myself from the Marine Corps, the Marine inside me of, okay, I need to mentor, I need to coach these young Marines as they're progressing through their careers. But then they're looking at me as the civilian of why am I taking Marine Corps career advice from somebody that decided to leave the Marine Corps?
Yes, those are all very great and valid points that I'm sure a lot of people go through. Because I'm kind of in a similar situation where, yeah, I got out of the Navy, but I still work for the Navy. I still, all my emails, I speak Navy, I'm around Navy all day. And it's like I want to like fully move on, but I can't. Um, so yeah, thank you for sharing that. And what was something that kind of helped you get past that?
Um, was finding the right people, finding the right community, either the finding the right veteran community outside of work, or finding the right Marines at work that I could relate with and I could talk to. And that was those were the things that I was able to help bridge that gap. It was the shared experience, shared commonalities that we were able to actually bring to bear and just feel a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I know you didn't stay as a contractor. So what was the next step for you after that?
So I stayed as a contractor for about 3 years, and then I decided to go same command, same unit, go the government route. Became a intelligence chief and a senior intelligence analyst. Did that for about 7 years, and then last year put in for a promotion, and now actually became the deputy director for intelligence for the Marine Command that I work for right now. So it was one of those things where they're going to end up having to bury me underneath the building. Even though I couldn't wear the uniform anymore, I still need to serve the Marine Corps in some manner. So yeah, that's kind of where the progression went. Is they started realizing who I was, what I was about, both on the intel side, but then on the mentorship side. How do I take these young Marines under my wing? Give them kind of coaching on this is what the next steps are for your Marine Corps career, or if you decide to leave the Marine Corps, this is how you can actually be successful, and just kind of check six and make sure you're good when you do eventually leave.
Right, and I think that's so important because so many people like mentees when you're in, you just have mentors that all they've known is the Marines, all they know is the Navy. And so to have a mentor that's on the other side and just can give you that confidence to get out and pursue something else. I think that's really beneficial.
Yeah, and no, that's kind of like I'm a heavier set guy, and even taking that into like my regular life, going to a nutritionist, going to a physical trainer, I want to be able to look on the wall and see a before and after picture from my physical trainer, somebody that has been through the same fight as I am.
Mm,
It's a lot more difficult to listen to that kind of advice. And like you just said, somebody that's only lived the Marine Corps, only knows the Marine Corps, now they're trying to give you career advice for post Marine Corps life. That's the same thing with somebody that struggled with weight gain, weight loss, uh, somebody that hasn't been perpetually skinny or perpetually athletic, trying to tell somebody that is out of shape or hurting, hey, this is what you need to do. Cool, yeah, tell me to run, but my knees don't do that anymore.
I love that. That's a great example. And it's so true because I think that that's a problem that so many of us face. I mean, I get messages daily for people asking me like, "Can I do it? Can I get out?" And it's because they're not hearing it from the folks that are inside. Yeah, so what can you talk about your job at all? Is that possible? How it
So
is
yeah,
doing
so I
Intel Marine still?
yep. So I'm still working with an Intel Command. So I actually work for Marine Forces Cyber. So we're in that next battle space where instead of the air ground sea, and space domain. Now we have the cyber domain as well. I work on more of the offensive planning. So obviously can't really get into the adversaries of who we're looking at, what we're looking at, but definitely trying to find the advantage in the cyber environment. And it's one of the interesting things with cyber, and you really don't think of a Marine doing intel work in the cyber side, because Marines, we know pull trigger, go bang, but a lot of the stuff on the intel side isn't the ones and zeros, isn't the binary language, and you need to know all this coding and things like that. You're still taking all of that information that's coming in from a human environment, from a geo environment, from a signals environment, and now even from social media, because we joke that your E2s and your E3s, when we're in the service, they're the ones that have the most awful OPSEC. They're the ones that are telling, hey, this is where we're going. This is where our next deployment's going to be. Bless you.
Thank you.
The bad guys have their E2s and E3s as well. Like those are the guys that are telling the world, hey, this is where we're going. This is what we're doing. They've got their geotags on their pictures that say, hey, this is exactly where I am when I took this picture at this time. So it's interesting to see what's out there. And then if you look at the news, everything that's been happening in the Middle East right now, that's kind of been eating my lunch, putting in 12, 13-hour days. Luckily got this 4-day weekend, but yeah, that's been taking a big chunk of my day.
Absolutely, and that's not easy stuff to sit there and analyze all day. How do you kind of handle that mentally?
That's you got to learn, and there's a couple of negative things that happen with that. One is the things you're reading, the things you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. You're seeing some of these worldwide atrocities firsthand. You're seeing the videos. If you think back to like 2014 when ISIS was big and they were executing their enemies in very creative ways. We were seeing those videos unedited, unscripted. So being able to find a way to detach from those things, and then even when you're pulling the 12, 13-hour days, and you can ask my wife, it's something I struggle with, even knowing that it's a problem, is work leaves when you leave the office. Sometimes I just need to hop in my car, drive home. I don't have the stereo on. I'm just driving in silence just to kind of decompress on my way home. So those are some of the things that I have personally done. And with where I work for one of those 3-letter agencies that nobody likes to talk about. In the intel community, because of the nature of some of the things that we see, the intel community has realized that mental health is needed. Mental health is exceptionally important. So there are mental health opportunities, people that have all the clearances that you need. So you can go to a therapy session and talk to a therapist, talk to a psychiatrist or psychologist, and talk the classified stuff that you just saw, things that you wouldn't be able to do going to the VA and say, hey, I saw this or I read this.
Yeah, that's a great point because you can't disclose the stuff that you want to get out of your mind and you want to process with someone else, but yet it's illegal to do so, or you're breaching some contract. I never thought about that. So you said there are psychologists that you can talk to, or
Yep. Yeah, so that is something that the agency actually invests in. They want to have those mental health professionals available, and they actually make that a billable time because they want to take the mental health that serious. I think it is a total of 12 one-hour sessions that are billable. You can take that as part of your 8-hour workday. Go talk to a therapist. Go talk to a psychologist. Data dump or purge that information, and then come back to work feeling a little bit more refreshed.
Right, right. Oh, that's really awesome. I'm glad to hear that because I could see how that's so important. Um, and so kind of going back to your transition, is there any other ways that you found to cope during that phase? Sorry, did I cut out?
You're breaking up just a skosh.
Oh no. All
Yep.
right. Can you hear me now?
You there, Joe?
Oh no, I wonder why
I
it's
think,
doing that.
I think I got you.
You got me? Okay.
All right. So, yep. So I think
Excuse me.
so. What you're asking is like, were there other things that I found to ease my transition out of the Marine Corps?
Yes.
So yeah, there a couple of different things. First one was that community, finding that community of like-minded veterans that were going through similar things. And then honestly, one of the biggest things that kind of kicked me out of a really dark place was getting back into sailing. I was in a nasty tailspin. Really didn't have much. Really didn't at the time. Didn't think that I had much to live for. I call it serendipity. Call it whatever you want to call it. Had a phone call saying, "Hey, Mike, I need somebody to come and crew on my sailboat for a Wednesday night race. You willing to come out?" And literally, I had my dog on one side of me, I had my pistol on the other side of me, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go. Let me go ahead and let me take care of this. I'll go sailing. I'll come back, take care of business, and we'll be done with it. I went out sailing, and it happened to be a boat full of retired Navy and Marine Corps aviators. And I happened to be, when I was with the squadron, I happened to be a Marine Corps aviator myself. And they were able to talk to me in a way that only veterans can talk to each other, that only, for the community, only aviators could talk to. And when I felt alone at the deepest part of my loneliness, was I didn't have that regimented life anymore. I didn't have the same people that I was going to see day in, day out, either over deployment or even at work here in the States. And being able to and what they explained to me is, you're right, you don't have that. It's as simple as that. You don't have that brotherhood. You don't have that camaraderie in the post life unless you take it with you. And then going back to like what we had, I at the time I had a hatred to the Marine Corps because they kicked me out of the club. What they explained to me was, you're right, you don't have that with the Marine Corps anymore, but now you do on a sailboat. Like you've been doing this for over 25 years at the time. Come sail with a bunch of vets. Let's talk the way we talk. Let's joke the way we joke. Let's share stories the way we share stories. And it was that environment, it was that shared experience that kind of took me back to Afghanistan post a long flight, and we're all smoking and joking on the ramp of the 53. Just kind of talking about how that mission went, and it took me back to that place and that time. And I got back, put the pistol away, gave a big hug to my dog, and really haven't looked back since.
That's incredible, Mike. That is I'm glad that that person reached out to you. And I love what they said because that's so true. You got to be blunt. You don't have that anymore, but you can bring the good things with you, right? So
Yep.
so what is it? Is there anything particular about sailing? Is it having to work as a group or being out in nature that really helps as well?
So sailing. All right. I don't want to offend anybody else in any sport and any of the other sports. But what I like to say about sailing is that no other sport in existence is going to take 4 to 10 individuals, put them on a 300 to 400 square foot postage stamp, throw them 20, 30, 40 miles offshore, say, here's your mission, here's your objective. I want you to do the best as you can. I want you to win the race, and I want you to bring everybody home safe. No other sport in existence is going to do that. And where you've got baseball, you've got football, you're a bunch of individuals on a team. Everybody has their job, but ultimately you're an individual doing an individual job on a field. On a sailboat, because you only have those limited amount of people, you can't just sit down and you can't just walk off the field, take a rest. Everybody has to know everybody else's job. And when you think back on it, for the ground pounders going out on the patrol, the rifleman knows how to pick up a machine gun and knows how to shoot a machine gun. The A gunner knows how to lob grenades. All of them know small unit leadership and small arms tactics. So everybody can rely on each other, and there's that set scope of positions on that boat that you start knowing what everybody does and what everybody's responsibilities are. And then because of the nature of sailing, you really don't want to have your cell phone on you because, like the Chesapeake Bay or the ocean or wherever, they don't give cell phones back. It drops in the water. It's gone. It's gone forever. You're not getting that back. So so now you've got that electric tether that's holding you to everybody else. It's holding you to all of your problems. Now that's tucked into a bag down below. Now the only people you can talk to are those 4 to 10 individuals that you're sitting on that boat with. And when you get into the breaks in between the different pieces of chaos, that's when those walls start coming down. That's when, like, oh, hey, you were the Marine Corps. Hey, did you oh, you were in Afghanistan? Oh, I was in Afghanistan 2009. Oh, no shit, you were in Afghanistan 2009 as well? Oh, cool. This is where I was. This is where you were. And you start having those conversations. That's kind of what sailing does. And then you get the intensity of it. I know a lot of vets, and I've actually had some of my best friends that would laugh and joke me, oh, sailing, it's that rich white man sport. I'm going to sit in the back drinking martinis and my seersucker and my Sperry's. And then I take them onto a boat, and wind may be blowing hard. They're getting knocked around. Their legs are bruised, their arms are tired, and then once we put the sails down and we're motoring back into port, I hand them a beer or hand them a bottle of rum, and they're like, "Oh, so this is why you do this? Like this, all right, this is good."
Yeah, yeah, that's so true, honestly. So where I went to school, sailing was really big, and I had that image in my mind. It's like a rich white man sport with the Sperry's and the polos, but yeah, you're really opening my eyes to that because I still hadn't even given it really a second thought. But yeah, it's got to be intense, and you also have to have a sense of trust in one another, which like you have to bring your walls down because if you don't trust one another, it's not gonna work.
Yep.
And so how did this lead you to create Valhalla Project?
Uh, so having that story with getting on that boat and racing with those aviators, I kind of thought to myself, hey, if it worked for me, it's got to work for other vets. So like any other good idea that starts in the military, I called up one of my buddies who was a Green Beret. I said, hey, Jay, you want to go to a bar? I got an idea for you. So we sat down at a bar. We grabbed some bar napkins. We wrote down we wrote the idea down for Valhalla Sailing Project. And what we wanted to do is to bring veterans into the sailing community, teach them the fundamentals of how to sail, and that's kind of a choose your own adventure after that. If you want to race, if you want to cruise, if you want to just pick it up as a hobby, let's do it. We'll facilitate it. And what has been amazing in Annapolis is the sailing community here has been so welcoming of the veterans. So it's a great problem to have for us is we have more veterans that want to go out and sail and race, then we have boats. Boat spaces to put people on. So all these boat owners and all these other race skippers in Annapolis, they've seen the way the veterans in Valhalla sail, how they race, their demeanor, the learning curve that they bring, their excitement, their physicality, and they, Mike, if you've got anybody that wants to race, send them my way, and please don't tell anybody else because I want all the goodness. But that's kind of been why and how Valhalla Sailing started. And I think over the past 8 years, there have been at least 4 individuals that have come up to me after a weekend clinic and have explained to me, hey, Mike, I had a very similar story to you. It was Friday night. I really didn't want to come out sailing, and then I got your email saying, "Hey, here's what the weather's supposed to be like." And they said, "Hey, I went ahead and put my pistol down. I'm going to go sailing on Saturday night. We're just going to end it." I had over the past 8 years, I've had at least 4 individuals come up to me and explain that their story matched mine. That they're still in the racing community, they're still in the sailing community, just because they decided to put the gun down, go out for a good time, hang out with a bunch of vets, and they realize, hey, this works. This shared experience, this camaraderie, this works. If 4 people have come up to me in 8 years, I can only imagine how many more haven't actually told me that this affected their lives.
Right. Wow, that's incredible, Mike. That really is. And I mean, it just means that you're reaching out, you're reaching the right people, and you're doing great things in this community. Could you explain what one of those initial weekends looks like, or how people start to get involved?
Yeah. So a lot of our recruitment happens online, either through our website, through social media. We'll post when the clinic dates are, and what those clinic dates are is it's a 2-day weekend here in Annapolis. We run them out of our training center, and the vets normally show up on a Saturday at around 8:30, 8:45 in the morning. Sign all the waivers, do all the admin and logistics. 9 o'clock in the morning, we start. We do the introductions. Everybody has an opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm Mike. I was in the Marine Corps." Say as much of your story as you want, as little of your story as you want. It's not a kumbaya program. We're not gonna force anybody to say anything that they don't want to talk about. And then knowing that the way vets learn, we want to get vets out in the water as soon as possible. We want to get them interacting with each other. We want to get them interacting with the coaches. We'll teach them the safety stuff. We'll teach them everything they kind of need to know to be safe on a boat. But all the learning happens on the boat. We have professional instructors that come out. So from 9 o'clock in the morning till about noon, they're out in the water learning the fundamentals. They come back in for about a 1-hour lunch. Then from about 1 to 4 p.m., they're back out in the water, honing those skills that they learned from the morning, adding on new skills. And then everybody comes in, they tuck the boats away just like we would in the military. You do all your post-flight stuff, you do all your post-patrol stuff, clean the boats up, put everything away. And then we have a social and a social barbecue. Invite your family in. Everybody's able to go, and we'll get sponsored food from some of the local restaurants in Annapolis, and we'll do a little barbecue and social hour with the vets and their family. Then on the Sunday, everybody comes back in at 9. We do a half-hour, 45-minute refresher of a refresher of what they learned the day before. Introduce a couple of new topics that they're going to learn out in the water. We pack the boats with some coolers, kick them out in the water by 10 o'clock in the morning, and they don't come back until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, unless they need to go to the bathroom or something like that. And they are honing their skills. They're developing the camaraderie. They're learning the sport, all with those professional coaches. And then we bring everybody back and we do the debrief. What'd you learn? What'd you like? What'd you not like? What is the next step in your journey that you want to take? And like I said before, it is a choose your own adventure. And honestly, we've had people come through the program that say, you know what, I really don't want to. I really don't. Thanks for the experience. I don't want to sail. I've always been into kind of horses, or like I always wanted to learn to draw. Cool. I know programs that do that too. So it's about linking them up with other resources that's going to make sure that they're in a good place.
Yes, yes, that's awesome. Oh, I got to read this because I just spent a week with Danny and his wife out in Vegas, and he said first time I ever sailed was with the Valhalla team. It was an amazing experience. What a small world. That is so cool. And that is 1 mile, one veteran.
It's humbling. Yeah, I know my co-founder Jay was on 1 Mile One Veteran and did a podcast with them. And it was great. It was great having him out and learn how to sail. It's amazing where the veterans come from and what the veterans want to do. So yeah, it's been an experience.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That is really cool. And so we are coming up on we have to shout out the commission and how we met. Because I just gave Lorraine, I was trying to teach her how to log into Instagram. I don't know if she was able to join.
Gotcha.
But if you're listening, Lorraine, thank you. So how did you get involved with the VA commission, the county commission?
So Calvert County was the last county in Maryland to actually stand up a county Veterans Affairs Commission. It was actually my mother-in-law showed me an article from one of the local newspapers and said, "Hey, they're standing up this commission. What do you think?" And I've actually told my boss there's three ways I'm going to leave this job. One, if you take advantage of me. Three, I'm physically no longer able to do the job. Or sorry, that was two. Three, if I'm ever able to ethically be able to help veterans and maintain standard of living. But it's not a paid thing. So I put my name in the hat, send in my resume of what I do, why I do it. And I was selected to be be a plank owner commissioner for the Calvert County Veterans Affairs Commission. And I volunteered with one of my peers, Jeff King, as the chair and vice chair of that very first iteration. And now I'm proud to say that I'm still on that commission, and we're doing some great things and getting some great headway for the veterans of Calvert County.
Yes, absolutely. And I went there for the first time back in August or July, and you guys were overwhelmingly welcome to me, and didn't roll your eyes when I said the word millennial, and you came right up to me, shook my hand, said I'd love to collaborate with you in some way. So I was so grateful for the welcome, because you never know what you can get when you show up at these places. But
well, I'm glad you brought a forgotten Gen Xer on the podcast.
Yes, no, like I always say, your generation and those before, they paved the way, and we have so much to learn from you guys. And so before we end this, how can people join Valhalla Sailing? And do you guys have a website? What's the best way to connect?
Sure, yeah. So we've got a website. It is valhallasailing.org. So Valhalla, VALHALLA, sailing, SAILING.org. I can spell. I can. But we're also on Facebook and Instagram. If you look up Valhalla Sailing Project, you'll see us. You'll see a shield with a dual-headed dragon on it. That is us. Yeah, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and if on the website there's a place, there's a link to get involved, sign up for clinics. We should be announcing when the 2024 clinic dates are, probably in January, beginning of February.
Awesome. And so I know not everyone's in the Maryland area that's listening. Is there other projects like this around the country, or places you could refer people if they're interested in sailing?
Yeah, if you're interested in sailing, please reach out. There are organizations that we have vetted and validated that we can put you in, depending on where you live, we can put you in contact with the right organization. And we may be able to bring you into Annapolis to enjoy the Chesapeake Bay for a weekend as well.
Oh, that would be so cool. So you guys do kind of you fly people out as well?
So it's normally travel is on their own, but we'll get lodging.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Mike, it was so great to have you. Is there anything else I could help you share tonight?
Uh, Jenna, no, like this has been it's been an honor. Thank you very much for what you do. For your listeners, please take advantage of the Veteran Workbook. It's a great piece of literature. It's a great tool for those that are transitioning out. And I think one of one of the last things that I want to say to the fellow veterans is mental health matters. If you're not good for yourself, like you need to be good for yourself. There's no harm, no foul. It doesn't matter what you did in the military. It doesn't matter if you're a special forces or if you're admin. Mental health matters. Get the help that you need. And if you need a friend, reach out. There are so many veterans that are out there that want to help.
Yeah. Yes. Amen. That was perfect, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing that, because a lot of us, we needed to hear that. So thank you. And thank you everyone who joined the live. I hope you enjoyed this, or if you're catching the replay or catching it on the radio, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will put the links down below, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks again, Mike.
Thanks, Jenna. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.